Welcome to Ancient Stoic Secrets, where timeless wisdom meets the chaos of our modern world. Every day, we wake up surrounded by noise, notifications buzzing, headlines screaming, and social media feeds showing us perfect lives we don't live. Somewhere in that whirlwind, a quiet voice begins to whisper, "You're behind. You're not enough." Have you ever felt that? That creeping sense that no matter how hard you work, someone else is already ahead, with a better career, a fitter body, or a happier family. It's like you're in a race you never signed up for, running on a track you didn't choose. But what if I told you, there is no race? What if everything you need to become is already inside you, buried beneath layers of comparison and expectations that were never yours to carry? Today's episode isn't about chasing success, it's about reclaiming clarity. We'll explore why comparison silently shapes our pain, how it robs us of joy, and how ancient Stoic wisdom can guide us back to our own path. So take a deep breath, silence the outside world for a few moments, and join me as we uncover how to live rooted, real, and whole, not for the world's applause, but for yourself. Because this isn't about competing, it's about becoming. 1. The invisible weight of comparison. Picture this, it's early morning, your alarm rings, and before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for your phone. In seconds, you're scrolling through pictures of friends on vacation, influencers showing off their perfect lives, and strangers celebrating wins you didn't even know you wanted. Without realizing it, you VA'd and hailed someone else's life before you VA'd had a chance to breathe in your own thoughts. This is how comparison sneaks in, not with a shout, but with a whisper. It doesn't demand attention, it steals it. Suddenly, you're not just waking up, you're waking up behind. Behind someone's success, someone's body, someone's relationship. And that whisper turns into a weight you carry throughout the day, shaping your mood, decisions, and even how you see yourself. Here's the truth. You were never meant to keep score in someone else's game. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." When we compare, we hand over the power to define our worth. Think about it. How many times have you achieved something, only to feel it's not enough the moment you see someone doing more? That's not growth. That's a trap. Life isn't a leaderboard. You weren't built to compete endlessly. You were built to become, and becoming isn't measured by likes, dollars, or applause. It's measured by how deeply you live your own truth. Take a pause and ask yourself, whose voice am I really listening to today? Mine or the world's? 2. You are not late, you are not early. One of the cruelest lies comparison tells us is that we're behind. Behind in our career, behind in marriage, behind in life. But here's the wake-up call. There is no universal timeline. You are not late, you are not early. You are exactly where you need to be for your unique journey. Imagine two very different landscapes, a river and a mountain. The river flows freely, moving and changing constantly. The mountain stands tall, unmoved for centuries. Would you ever compare the two and say one is better because it moves faster? Of course not. Yet that's exactly what we do to ourselves when we measure our lives against others. Social media tricks us into thinking everyone's story should progress at the same speed. Marriage by 30, house by 35, financial success by 40. But these milestones are scripts, not truths. The more we cling to them, the more we lose sight of our own path. Comparison doesn't just steal joy. It distorts meaning. It pushes you to chase goals you never actually wanted. Maybe you don't even care about having the corner office or the flashy car. But because someone else has it, you feel like you're failing without it. The Stoics taught us to return to what we can control. Our actions, our values, our character. When you stop racing against imaginary deadlines, you finally free yourself to grow at your own pace. So, the next time that whisper says, "You're falling behind," answer it with this truth: I'm not behind. I'm just walking a different path. One that's mine alone. 3. The illusion of perfection. Every day, we scroll past images of perfection. The perfect body, the perfect marriage, the perfect career. At first glance, it seems inspiring. But pause for a moment. What you're really seeing is a carefully edited highlight reel, not the unfiltered truth. It's like watching a movie and forgetting there's a mess of wires, cameras, and chaos behind the scenes. Take Sarah, for example. She posts photos of her dream vacation, smiling on a pristine beach. Her friends envy her life. What they don't see are the arguments she had with her partner moments before the picture, or the credit card debt she's drowning in to afford that trip. This is the reality hidden behind the perfect frame. When we constantly consume these images, we start to believe that our own messy, complicated, beautiful life is somehow wrong. But the truth, authentic lives don't always look good online. Real moments, laughter, struggle, growth, don't fit neatly into a 30-second clip or a perfectly lit photo. Marcus Aurelius reminded us to focus on our inner character, not outer appearances. When we chase the illusion of perfection, we end up performing for others instead of living for ourselves. and performance is exhausting. It robs you of peace. Next time you see someone else's perfect moment, remember this: you're only seeing the surface. Their light might seem brighter, but yours is real. And real light doesn't flicker with trends. It may not go viral, but it's steady, honest, and deeply yours. Ask yourself, would you still live this way if no one else was watching? 4. The Stoic view of ambition. Ambition itself isn't the enemy. The Stoics never taught us to stop striving. What they warned against was borrowing ambition, chasing dreams that aren't truly ours. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Sanity means tying your well-being to your own actions." But today, we tie our sense of worth to likes, views, and applause from people we'll never meet. Think about Daniel, a young professional who worked tirelessly to land a high-paying job because it looked impressive on LinkedIn. The day he got it, he celebrated. But within weeks, he felt hollow. Why? Because that dream wasn't his. It belonged to someone else's definition of success. This happens to so many of us. We see others pursuing goals and think, maybe I should want that too. Suddenly, we're running a race that doesn't belong to us. Even when we win, it feels empty. True ambition is quiet, not loud. It doesn't need to be broadcast to the world. It's about building a life you respect, even when no one is watching. It's about aligning your actions with your values, not external approval. Here's a challenge. Pause and ask yourself, would I still want this if no one ever saw it? If the answer is yes, you've found authentic ambition. If the answer is no, it's time to let that borrowed dream go. Ancient Stoic Secrets teaches us this vital truth. When your ambition is rooted in value, not vanity, you stop living for applause and start living for purpose. And that's where real freedom begins. 5. The lie of falling behind. Have you ever felt that silent panic when you see others moving ahead? Friends, buying houses, getting promotions, or starting families. And you wonder, am I too late? It's a sinking feeling, as if there's a giant invisible clock counting down, and you running out of time. But here's the truth. There is no master timeline. Life isn't a single race where everyone starts at the same point and crosses the same finish line. Imagine this: Emily takes a decade to build her business, while Jacob discovers his passion at 45 and starts fresh. Both paths are valid. Neither is late. Comparison tricks us into thinking we must sprint to keep up, but when you rush toward someone else's destination, you abandon your own. You start making choices out of fear instead of purpose. Taking jobs you don't want. Entering relationships you're not ready for, just to prove you're on track. The Stoics teach us that growth happens in seasons, not seconds. Just as a tree doesn't bloom in winter, there are parts of your life that need time to root before they can flourish. Rushing the process only brings frustration. Take a deep breath. Look at your journey like a map, not a stopwatch. You're not behind. You're simply on a different road. And sometimes, the slower path gives you experiences that speed can never offer. So, the next time you feel pressured by the world's timeline, remind yourself, I'm not late. I'm exactly where I need to be, becoming who I'm meant to become. 6. The real cost of comparison. Comparison doesn't just steal joy, it steals clarity. When you measure your life through someone else's lens, you lose sight of what truly matters. The noise becomes so loud that you mistake distraction for direction. Think about scrolling endlessly on social media. At first, it feels harmless. Just a quick peek. But hour by hour, your mind fills with images and voices that aren't your own. Suddenly, you're questioning decisions you once felt confident about. Should I be making more money? Should I look like that? Should I want that lifestyle? Over time, you begin shaping your identity around someone else's reflection. You stop living intentionally and start reacting to trends, opinions, and judgments. This is the real cost of comparison. It disconnects you from yourself. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom isn't something you stumble upon, it requires stillness. But comparison keeps you noisy, restless, and scattered. Here's a simple practice. Take 10 minutes each day to unplug. No phone, no notifications. Just sit quietly and listen to your own thoughts. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. But slowly, your inner voice will return. That sound, the one beneath the chaos, is you. And when you hear it clearly, you'll realize that you were never truly lost. You were just buried under layers of noise. Comparison fades when clarity rises. Choose stillness over scrolling, and you'll rediscover the person you were always meant to be. 7. You don't need borrowed light. We often compare ourselves when our own flame feels dim. It's like standing in a dark room, looking for light anywhere you can find it. So, we borrow it. From someone else's success, their confidence, their applause. At first, it feels warm, it feels safe. But here's the problem. Borrowed light was never meant to guide your path. Think about Ethan, a musician who once loved playing for himself. When his songs started going viral, he became addicted to the numbers. Likes, views, comments. He stopped creating from passion and started creating for approval. His fire didn't grow brighter. It flickered under the weight of other people's expectations. This is what comparison does. It turns you into a shadow, chasing light that isn't yours. But you weren't born a shadow, you were born a flame. Your spark might seem small right now, maybe even fragile, but it's still yours. Instead of chasing borrowed light, protect your own. Disconnect from the noise. Reflect on what truly fuels you. Do something that restores you. Not for validation, not for applause, but simply because it matters to you. It could be reading a book, taking a walk, or creating art no one else will ever see. Your worth doesn't depend on how brightly someone else shines. It depends on how authentically you tend to your own fire. Ask yourself this: am I living to be seen, or to truly live? The answer will guide you back to the light that was yours all along. 8. Let go and return to you. Healing doesn't have to be a performance. You don't need to post your progress online, explain your choices, or seek permission to grow. Real transformation happens quietly, in spaces the world never sees. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with other people's expectations, timelines, achievements, appearances. Every step feels harder, not because of who you are, but because of what you've been told to carry. Letting go isn't about giving up. It's about setting that weight down so you can finally move freely. Breathe deeply. Laugh without needing to capture it on camera. Struggle without apologizing for not having it all figured out. Rest without guilt, knowing that slowing down is not the same as falling behind. Real life doesn't perform, it unfolds. It's imperfect, messy, sacred, and the more you let go of who you're supposed to be, the closer you return to who you already are. Think about a tree in a storm. It doesn't try to be the sky or the rain. It simply roots itself deeper, trusting that the storm will pass. You are that tree. Your roots are your values, your truth, your stillness. As we close today's journey, remember this: freedom isn't found in competing or impressing. It's found in returning to yourself, your path, your quiet strength. Subscribe to Ancient Stoic Secrets and join a community that values depth over noise. Because you're not here to compete. You're here to live, rooted, real, and whole. The journey back to yourself. As we reach the end of today's journey, take a moment to reflect. Think about all the noise we've talked about, the timelines, the comparisons, the illusions of perfection. They've been weighing you down for years, like invisible chains you didn't even realize you were carrying. But now you know, you don't have to live that way. Imagine yourself standing at a crossroads. One path is crowded, loud, filled with flashing signs telling you who to be, what to want, and how to measure your worth. The other path is quieter, lined with moments of stillness and truth. The first path is where most people go, because it's easy to follow the crowd. The second path, that's where real freedom lives. The Stoics believed that the greatest victory is mastering yourself, not the world. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to rush or compete. You simply need to show up for yourself every single day. So here's my invitation to you. Take one small step today toward that quieter path. Maybe it's putting down your phone for an hour. Maybe it's writing down your true values. Maybe it's just breathing deeply and remembering that you are enough. Right now, exactly as you are. If this message resonated with you, stay with us. Subscribe to Ancient Stoic Secrets, where we don't chase trends or noise. Instead, we build depth, resilience, and purpose together. Because you're not here to compete, you're here to live, rooted, real, and whole. And together, we'll keep walking toward the life you were always meant to create.